Hello, everybody. Welcome to the S&G Podcast, the only place where you can get the opinion that you didn't ask for. We're finally back after 2 years since our last episode. So we're finally back and we're finally talking again. I'm your host. I'm Jake, the Mad Italian, and I am joined with Ethan
Hello.
and Gabe.
To see any of you.
I'm here.
And we are finally back. Happy St. Patrick's Day at the time of this recording. So hope you guys are drinking responsibly. Unless you're underage, then drink even less responsibly. So
And drink afterwards. Just kidding. Probably don't put that in.
wait, wait,
We're already pulling out the censors.
well, hey, listen. Listen, you gotta start strong, right? It's been 2 years. Who knows what's been happening? But anyway, how are you guys doing? How was your St. Patrick's Day?
I forgot it happened, so I this is now the first that I'm actually being reminded that it happened.
It was pretty good for me. We got a gate installed in the backyard so the neighbors' dogs can come up and hang out here and just have play dates with ours.
That's nice. That's always very nice. That's the thing about St. Patrick's Day is that I feel like people either forget about it or they'll just remember it and be like, "Hey, look, an excuse to get drunk."
Go
Which,
hog wild.
pretty much, yeah. Which honestly, I don't really blame them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really go out that much, but whenever I do, it gets pretty crazy. But uh, anyway, so quite a bit has happened this past week. Starting off, I might as well get into this. So The Last of Us show has just wrapped up season 1, and it's already. I'm already gonna go ahead and flop my contrarian cock on the table and say it's overrated.
Really, what makes you say it's overrated?
Because it's all the things that make it close to the game are the most uninteresting parts of it.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I would say, I mean, because the thing is that people talk about adaptations all the time. It's like, oh my god, it's the best adaptation. Like, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say it's bad because it's not bad by any means. But also, so you guys haven't seen. I know you haven't seen it yet, Ethan.
The show, no, I'm not. Let me make this on clear on the record for everyone. I have not played the game nor seen the show.
And
I have not watched Last of Us with a 10-foot pole.
and Gabe, you've seen most of the show, right?
Yeah, I've seen at least half of it. I think I'm like on episode 6 or 7 or something like that, and then I've played the game. So yeah, we're clearly the best authorities to talk about this show.
Well,
Absolutely. We're as great of an authority as every other white guy with a podcast, all right?
Yes, which is apparently everyone. I think you know how there's like a flock of birds or a murder of crows. The plural for white guy should be like a podcast
a
of white guys.
podcast.
Podcast, that's great.
So what you're saying is that we need a black guy to even things out on here.
I'm telling you, man, when you get Armand on here,
I mean, I'd be down to if you
or
can get
Cameron.
if you can get contact with them. But I mean, you guys know the game at least. Like Ethan, I know you know the game. Gabe,
Yes.
you've played the game. You're on episode 6, so I'll also for everyone listening, this is going to be spoilers for the current season of The Last of Us. If you haven't seen it already or haven't played the game, it's basically the same. Like episode 7 onward is pretty much the same, only less interesting in my opinion, because I'm not fucking playing it. Uh, and I gotta say, like they do recreate. There's a lot of scenes because I believe they recreate the Left Behind DLC with Ellie and her friend Riley, I believe her name is. Um, and then they go into the whole fight with the hunters and David, and then it's the final episode, which is the final level. And to be honest, that when it stopped doing new stuff, when it stopped showing me anything that was new, it's when the show really started to kind of loosen its grip for me personally. And I made this claim when the show was first starting up. I made a claim that this show was going to be the exactly or very similar to how the Persona animes are, where they're gonna recap what the main plot is and add little extra bits, and it's gonna be enjoyable, but it's never gonna replace the game. There's no real reason to watch this show other than play the game.
At least the stuff that the Persona 5 anime that did add was pretty great, but that's more so thanks to the voice acting crew and not more so to the writing in the animation studio.
Yeah, and the animation for the Persona, especially for the Persona 5 anime, like I know for some people listening, this is probably absolute heresy what we're saying. But I mean, despite everything, people still love the Persona animes. But I mean, there's just a lot of things where I just look back at the show, and at the same time, I can maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm not the main demographic for this show because I played the game.
Persona or Last of Us?
For Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe I'm not the main demographic for it because maybe this was meant for people who have never played the game.
Yeah,
Because
it definitely is.
yeah, because clearly people who haven't played the game and just watched the show, they are enjoying it and they are experiencing something new. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like there's no like give and take because with other shows with well, I was gonna say Arcane, but I don't know why anyone would play League after watching Arcane. With other shows like Castlevania and Cyberpunk Edge Runners, is that when you see this experience the story of Castlevania and then play the game, it's very different. You know, because there's a bunch of Castlevania games to kind of get into, and there's a lot of different lore. And with the story of Cyberpunk in the game and the story of Edge Runners in the show, it's very different. So that whether you come in with the show or you come in with the game, you're gonna get something new from both products. And with the Last of Us show is that when you're with coming into either of those, you're gonna get something kind of new, but it's still gonna be the same. It's a very hollow experience, in my opinion.
Do you think they were maybe only keep playing it so safe to maybe test the waters with adapting something this more so one-to-one from a game to a show?
Maybe.
No, I don't think they're testing the waters. Like, I don't know what the test would even be. Like, oh, can video games be adapted? Like, well, I mean, anything can be adapted. Like, you can. It's a case by case thing. Like, just because you can adapt one video game into a show or a movie doesn't mean you can continually successfully do that. It depends on the crew and the creative vision and all that, and if it's worth adapting or whatever. But I think in terms of The Last of Us, like to me the show is it's pretty good. I feel like my enjoyment of it is kind of diluted because I've played the game and I'm constantly comparing it to the game, and to me I feel more attached to Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson's performances of Joel and Ellie. I feel like they really made those characters their own with their performances. Like I think the actors in the show did a great job, but overall, like the game to me is a lot more. It's more personal because you actually interact with the environment. You're in it. You're playing as the characters. Like that, I feel just attaches you to those characters a lot more. Like it's obviously not, it's not just a little thing that you play as Sarah for the, that's the first character you play in The Last of Us. You play as Sarah, like that's there for a reason. Like you're playing as Sarah because she, obviously spoilers, she dies like 20 minutes later. And, you really feel that not only because you're watching it in the cutscene, but because she was the first person you played as.
Yeah, and the show definitely does make a good attempt to try to recreate that, where we do follow her, like her repairing the watch for Joel, and like all these things that are going on. It does make a good attempt, and it's like we see it from her perspective, but it never does get to that point where we really do feel that connection because we never are really in control of her, and that's the thing about storytelling through video games. It's a very different experience as opposed to just watching or reading something because we're in a way we are that person. We're playing as that person.
And it's, to me, it's also, I feel like there definitely is something lost in the show from that lack of interactivity. Like The Last of Us
Flexibility is
to
the
me,
key. It's the thing that separates a game from a. I don't want to bash on a visual novel, but for lack of a better term, a visual novel or a show. It's the fact that you were the one doing that. You're the one massacring the fireflies and the scientists. You're the one
yeah,
escorting your daughter across the the country. Joel
states, yeah.
is such a masterfully written character to the point that he is equal parts a player insert and his own character. Normally you can only have one or the other, i.e., like a player insert like a Joker or a Byleth, or a set character, and that is really hard to do.
Yeah, and I would say it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Nathan Drake as well, because from an outsider's point of view, Nathan is kind of a shitty guy because he's very greedy. He's constantly like doing these whole treasure hunts, and I mean, what was the guy? Rafe in Uncharted 5. Like he's not the greatest guy, but his motivations are the most clear in what he wants to do. But because we see everything from his point of view, and because we understand his whole motivation and his relationship with his brother Sam and like why he's doing the things that he's doing, we empathize with that. But it's also because we're playing as him that we want him to succeed. And I think that's why the movie didn't really work that well for that many people.
Oh yeah,
The
There was a
the
movie.
Uncharted movie.
Yeah, the Uncharted movie, which
Oh.
I personally think it was hilarious, just because it was so fucking ridiculous. I just think it was hilarious, but I understand why people didn't like it.
But back to The Last of Us. I was talking with my roommates about the game and the show, and I think that the story of the first game is much better suited to a video game than it is a show. Like I can see why
that was the original media. Crazy, right?
Yeah,
yeah, I think it makes more sense for it to be adapted into a show than a movie, but at the same because it is like a longer journey. Like I think they would in order to really portray the journey, it'd have to be a fairly long movie probably, but anyways, I think the game it doesn't necessarily have like a breakneck pace, which is fine. Like I think that really suits the journey. A lot of it, a lot of the story is conveyed through just little bits of dialogue as you're just walking around the apocalyptic world. It's just little bits of interaction.
oh,
Moment where Ellie doesn't help you with moving the ladder in the game. Like there's this sort of rapport that you build with Ellie when you're playing as Joel. Moving dumpsters, moving ladders, helping each other over walls and stuff, and then when Ellie is in a bad mood at one point in the game, she doesn't help you move the ladder. That's a sort of subversion of the game mechanics. That's a great way to kind of convey, emotion through not necessarily just direct storytelling, but through gameplay.
yeah, and also because that scene is in the show.
And there's a lot of moments like that.
Sorry, you cut out for me, so I couldn't tell.
But you cut out as well. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, yeah, I hear all that you're saying, but that scene is also in the final episode, like where she drops the ladder. But honestly, that doesn't happen as much in the show. The whole like boost you up and then she gets the ladder for you. And honestly, it kind of like it makes that whole thing. It just feels like that's like another reference to the game, and it's like it doesn't really hit. It's not really gonna hit the people that haven't played the game as hard because the thing is that you do that ladder thing so much in the game
Yeah.
that when it happens, you're like, oh my god, I gotta get up there. What's going on? And then you go see.
It's like I don't think you've gone this far, Gabe, in God of War 2018, but Jake knows what I'm talking about. It's when with Atreus, he always responds to square on the controller, no matter what. And once Atreus learns of his lineage, because his father kept it a secret, he learns, oh my god, I'm a god. I am the son of a god. And he literally develops a god complex. It's very obvious. It's an okay part of the game, but what's really interesting is that he doesn't listen to you.
Yeah, and he'll just start
Mhm.
shooting on his own and start just going on his own instinct. But I
And
also
some of his abilities are on cooldown, and that can very quickly anger you because he's very integral in combat.
And I think that's a good example because what a lot of people will say, it's like, well, these games are cinematic games. They're meant to be, linear, and they're meant to replicate movies and stories. And I'm like, okay, yes, but they still take advantage of the fact that they're games. Like that's a great example because it's like, hey, this is a part in a story where he's actually not listening to you, and it reflects in the game of like he's not listening to you. So you're gonna give him commands, and he's not gonna listen to you. And that's a great way to actually connect it to the player as well. And that's why a God of War show, whatever they're gonna do, I don't really know how they're gonna do that. Like that's another thing. That's a whole nother can of worms. But that's just another, like, that's how these game designers make it into a connection of a game, because not every game has to be like an RPG where you make dynamic choices, but they can still connect it and make it feel like a game. So
Do you guys think that uh, video game adaptations are even worth it? And I guess a broader question to ask would be, do you guys think that adaptations are I don't know, do you think that they're interesting anymore?
I
Because
I
I
do.
feel like they're kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm tired of them, honestly.
I do think that the attempt is like, it's not a big deal. That's a okay. So this is another thing that honestly gets a little annoying, is that this just has happened happening a lot. Is that people will go like tooth and nail to talk about how the Last of Us show is like breaking new grounds. It's the next big thing. Look at all like this amazing shit, and they talk about how they're the first and they're so unique when it's really not. It's not as unique as it thinks it is. It's a good zombie show. It's a good zombie media, but it's not like the fucking end all be all. Like Walking Dead already came out. Like all this shit already came out and did a lot of the stuff that they already did. They did it better. I'll admit that. They absolutely did it better, but it's not you're not as unique, and they don't admit that they're taking inspiration from other things. But to answer your question, Gabe, I do think video game adaptations are worth it, but I think the best video game adaptations aren't even really adaptations. I think they're at their best when they just take place in these worlds.
Yeah, like Arcane and Castlevania. I agree with you.
Yeah.
You
And Edge
take the
Runners.
world, but you don't use, for all intents and purposes, Joel and Ellie. You go to, let's say, I don't know, how did this outbreak affect people in China or Russia
And,
or somewhere in Africa?
and the best parts of the show do that. Like the what's considered the best episode, which is the one with Bill and Frank. That was a completely new thing where we saw
Yeah.
what they were going through, and like they changed up. Like obviously, it's in the game they have a lot more of a toxic relationship and they end up breaking up, and Frank ends up dying. But we actually see like what their relationship is like and how they actually met and got together and all that stuff. But the thing that bothers me is that it's different, but it still relates to the plot of Joel and Ellie, and he still serves his purpose of getting them a car. So they just
Yeah.
have to keep this plot intact. And it kind of goes into it's both similar and different from how The Walking Dead did it with the comics and the show, where they still had like to have big plot moments that happened and like characters that came from the comics, and they kind of had to like replicate it in the show, but still kind of like change things up a little bit. So
Yeah, direct adaptation I think can be kind of, it can be pretty tedious. Not like there rarely is direct adaptation, but I don't know. I definitely want to see some sort of expansion, some creative liberties, as long as the spirit of the source material is intact.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
and when you, to your point, when you mention the Last of Us isn't really like unique. I don't know if it is trying to be unique though. Like I think a lot of people see it as like a fresh thing, but I think a lot of those people just probably didn't watch The Walking Dead or haven't really seen maybe too many of HBO's original series. Like I don't think The Last of Us has ever tried purported being very original thing. Like it literally isn't an original thing. It's
I
an
don't know. It's
adaptation.
just it's mainly just whenever I see reports about how people are saying like, oh, we don't use the word zombie on set. It's like, okay, shut the fuck up. They're fucking zombies, okay? It's
Oh,
just shit like that where it's like where
yeah.
they think that they're so much better than they actually are. Like, listen, call them walkers in The Walking Dead. They're fucking zombies, okay? George A. Romero fucking exists. I know he doesn't exist in your universe, but he exists in ours.
I don't know. That is pretty pretentious, but whatever.
Yeah, that's just it's just I see stuff like that and I'm like, oh my god, it's just one of those things you read online. You're like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, that's yeah. We can move on from that if you guys, unless you guys have anything else to say.
I'm good with the
Ethan?
rest of us, honestly. I think just maybe because I'm a PlayStation kid, I've seen way too much of this game being just over flooded into all kinds of media. Why are there? Hang on, I got my PlayStation on right now. I'm gonna see how many versions of Last of Us One there are that are available
On PlayStation 4, I think
on
there's like
five.
two. Or on PlayStation 5, yeah, because I think because there's like the backwards compatible version, and then there's the remake, the quote unquote
There's two.
remake.
There's just two for the PS5.
Okay,
Okay.
There's
it's just
three in
that's
total.
not
There's
as
the one
bad
that
as
came
I
out for
thought.
the
For some reason, I thought there was
PS3.
three,
And
but
because it came out on PS3, didn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
there's the one that's for PS3, and then they remastered it for the PS4, and then they made the remake for PS5.
that's disgusting.
Good lord, man.
Where's my Metal Gear Solid 3 remake? All right, that's great. That requires Konami to do shit.
Yeah, yeah, they're not gonna do shit. Dead Cells did more shit than they did with Castlevania.
Ooh, Dead Cells fans eating good.
Yeah.
Each all of you. Speaking of games with phenomenal combat, you're lucky I set down Fury.
Oh, have you actually been playing it?
Yeah, I beat the tutorial boss without dying. Now I'm on the second one, the
No.
fucking weirdo looking servitor girl.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's fucking weird. But like, dude, that first fucking song track is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's a bop. It's
It's
great.
the music. It's not all by him, but it's by a DJ called Danger, and
Uh-huh.
he makes some phenomenal music.
Good
Uh,
to know.
yeah, he's got some great stuff. They also have a game called Haven, which is also really good. Not like the same. It's a lot more of a laid back kind of game compared to
Uh-huh.
Fury, but it's still pretty cool. Um, but anyway, something else that we got going on. We also got the Oscar winners. The Oscars just happened recently. Did you guys watch them at all?
No,
I did not watch them, and I didn't even pay attention to who won. I know that Brendan Fraser won Best Actor,
good for him.
and I know that Everything, Everywhere, All at Once won Best Picture, which I think is really cool. But
Yeah, which was honestly a no brainer. I saw it at my parents' house because they were watching it, and
I still have to see.
the biggest highlights for me were Brendan Fraser winning because that was fantastic because he absolutely deserved to win. Um,
I didn't even watch The Whale. I want to watch it, but I did not get the chance.
it's a pretty good movie. But also just the fact that after everything that he went through, I'm glad that he's getting the recognition that he deserves. I also the speech from Guillermo. I'm gonna say his name wrong. Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo
Guillermo?
del Toro?
Yeah, he made a speech about animation, which honestly was like the best way to say fuck you to the people that talk shit on animation last year.
Right?
So that made me really happy. He said animation is cinema and it deserves to be recognized, and it's only going forward and breaking new ground. So I'm really happy that he said that.
Yes, I agree completely. As- I
It was
forget
really
exactly
sweet
what.
seeing Keha Kwan. I'm butchering that pronunciation. The guy who won Best Supporting Actor. I'm not going to try saying his name because I'm going to butcher it. It was really sweet seeing him hug Harrison Ford off stage on stage.
Oh
Do you know
yeah.
behind that?
What's
Uh,
up?
do you know the story behind that picture?
Like the both of them hugging?
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing they're friends.
Well, yeah, it's from Temple of Doom, but what's interesting is the fact that um he Harrison Ford was brought in last minute to actually deliver that award.
Oh yeah, because it's usually the person who wins Best Actor, and the person who won Best Actor was Will Smith last year.
Oh, that's funny.
So
They called him in last minute, and it happens to be short round.
yeah. Yeah,
Really?
I know, and that's actually like a really sweet thing. I do remember, I really like Harrison Ford had a speech, and he did not give a shit. He made like the quickest. He made like the opposite of what's the actor's name?
Christopher Judge.
Yeah, he made the opposite of Christopher Judge's speech. He just was like, "Hey, we're here. Fuck you, George Lucas. Let's get to the awards." And then he just called it.
King shit.
So that was pretty funny. But I still need to.
Pinocchio won Best Animated Picture, which totally down with. I still need to watch it. Sadly, I'm just glad Disney didn't win. That's all.
Disney hasn't been winning the past few years. Or
They
did
won the last couple years. They Spider-Verse won in 2018. That was wow. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know. And now we're getting close
Ooh,
to.
I don't like that.
Now we're getting close to the next one, which is coming out. But when is the next one coming out?
I'm not sure.
Coming out in June or July, something like
It
that.
was October.
Hey, it's my birthday. Um. Oh yeah, that's actually another thing I do want to talk about. But going back to the Oscar, there's so many movies. While I was watching that, I'm like, wow, I really did not watch that many movies this year. I think the only thing I saw was The Whale. I haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I'm still stunned you haven't seen Puss in Boots yet.
I do need to watch it. I think it's still in theaters near me, so maybe I'll just go.
Do it.
Yeah. Oh, I hit my mic. But did you guys see? Have you guys seen any of those movies? Have you guys seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No, I think I'm the only one on this call who hasn't, which is a shame because I really should.
Have you seen it, Gabe?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. It was really good.
That's good. I don't even really know what it's about.
I think it's like a multiversal movie or something like that. Not sure.
It's like a what you cut out.
It's like some kind of multiversal movie.
Oh, okay. I also noticed that they were talking a lot about I think it was the newest Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie on there too.
It was I liked it. It was as someone who is just doesn't like the first Black Panther movie. I think it's mad overrated and just not worth. It's just yeah, I just don't like it at all.
I mean, looking back at Black Panther like now with how the MCU has been, it's really it kind of it looks pretty good compared to recent MCU movies and shows.
I don't know if I'd go that far even.
But I did like Wakanda Forever.
I thought Wakanda Forever was really, really great. I loved Namor in that. He's just got to struggle with living up to Killmonger.
Yeah, I know. But we're like wrapped up with. Speaking of MCU, we're wrapped up with Phase 4, right?
I think so, and I think I've told you guys this stuff before, but I kind of want to get in recording because I think it's really on the money. Is that for years I would always ask people like, okay, what's your favorite and least favorite phase of the MCU? And the results were so varied. It was a total rainbow, totally different options. But I think now almost everyone's least favorite is 4, which is interesting.
Not even like that's the thing is that not only is it going to be the least favorite, but it's also just going to be the phase where everyone just kind of blanks out because a lot of people don't watch a lot of the movies because a lot of people were mostly done after Endgame.
People will still watch the movies because it has those devoted fans who are basically following the comic series. But what I think is interesting is seeing how much the percentage drop off of sales.
Yeah, and that's making a big difference. It's making a way bigger difference than anyone imagined it would. Because usually people don't because like
They have one strong weekend where they maybe make their money back, and then they drop by like 60 to 70% on average.
Yeah, and honestly, in a way, I'm kind of. I mean, it's obviously it sucks for the people that are working on those movies, but I'm kind of glad because it shows that people are like the audience is actually making a difference and not
I'm
just
glad that things are getting pushed back.
yeah, as they should be. They should be pushed back, and we should be giving it a breather for right now.
Because if there's one thing that speaks across all languages, it's money.
Yep, that's for damn sure. I don't know. What do you think about this, Gabe?
About Marvel movies.
Yeah, just MCU and the end of Phase 4.
Um, I I don't know. I can't really contribute much to the conversation, honestly. I don't care for what Marvel's doing right now. I think they're very creatively bankrupt, you know.
I,
Just a lot of what other people are saying, and it's a shame because I really like a lot of the characters, you know.
have you not watched that many of the movies in Phase 4?
No, I've seen every single one in Phase 4.
My
I'm
God,
sorry.
seriously?
I have.
All the shows even as well?
No, I stopped watching. Uh, to me, I feel like I really started to fall off at once I saw Thor: Love and Thunder.
You
I'm
were
like,
always
okay,
falling off, Jake. Gabe, same person.
What?
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 Okay, what was I fucking saying? God
MCU
damn it, Ethan.
falling off. You've been falling off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Thor: Love and Thunder was kind of the last nail in the coffin for me. I'm like, yeah, I just don't really care anymore. I saw that. I'm like, this is just terrible. Like Taika Waititi, I obviously don't know the guy personally, but uh, I don't know. He just really rubbed me the wrong way. I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but that I think it was the GQ interview about the infamous interview where he was kind of roasting his VFX team. It's just
Oh,
Right.
that yeah, I
so
do remember that.
unprofessional and pretentious. Like him and Tessa Thompson were just laughing about it. It's like, and we know now about the VFX teams being overworked, and
Crunched.
it's just he just screams like I don't know, but like that whole interview and then his behavior after that, it just screams like his ego is so inflated. Maybe it's not, but chances are it is. And I don't care for Thor: Love and Thunder at all. That really soured me on not only his I guess my excitement for his potential future movies, but for the MCU as a whole. And then She-Hulk happened, and that didn't really interest me. But I don't know. I hear mixed things about it. Um, I saw. I just know it was really controversial because there was like a twerking scene or whatever,
I
which
thought
is
that was
dumb.
funny. People were
I
getting
don't. I
so
don't care.
angry at hot chicks twerking on television. God, what happened to society?
I mean,
I.
people get mad
I.
about everything.
I don't. I don't care. Like it's. I don't care enough about the MCU to have anger towards She-Hulk. I just don't care.
People were getting angry saying, back in the day, Iron Man wouldn't do this. And I was like, are you kidding? He'd join.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I saw most of Moon Knight, but didn't end up watching the final two episodes. It just got really boring for me.
I've heard,
Um,
I have heard so many mixed things on Moon Knight, and it's really interesting.
yeah. Long story short, shows I just did not watch very much. I stopped watching them a while ago.
And I mean, a lot of people have made this claim already is that in the end, they don't feel like movies. Like these shows, they don't feel like movies. They just feel like stretched, or they don't feel like shows. Excuse me. They feel like stretched out movies that are
Yeah,
just like separated in parts. Even Loki at its best kind of felt like that too.
I think Loki's pretty good. I
Speaking of
think Loki is
movies,
easily the standout.
Loki is by far the best show.
speaking of movies being stretched out into shows, this is mainly going to go for Gabe rather than you, Jake. But did you hear about what they're doing with Avatar 2?
Yeah, Avatar 2. Well,
After it gets released on Blu-ray and etc. and all that good stuff, I've heard the 9-hour cut is actually going to be made into like a limited series on Disney Plus.
No, I think that was about Avatar 3.
I thought it was Avatar 2. I'm gonna Google that real quick. You guys keep talking.
Also, holy shit, 9 hours.
I am going. My ass will be watching.
Fucking what the fuck, dude? 9 hours? I thought the extended cut of Lord of the Rings was long.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a rumor that the 9 hour cut will be made into like a limited show or something. I don't really
Oh,
know. I
okay.
didn't
You're
look
right. It
into it.
is 3. My mistake.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I,
isn't Avatar 2 already out?
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
I didn't.
Obviously, stuff's been cut.
Yeah, but that much? Like seriously? You have that much to cut?
Well, we still have the same problem in this case that Avatar 3 has a 9-hour cut.
Holy shit.
Yo, man, never count out James Cameron.
I still have never seen Avatar 2.
That's a shame.
I I don't know. Like when that movie came out, I'm just like, all right, cool, Avatar 2. I'm gonna go. I just I just kind of blanked out from that one. I'm sure it's a good movie. I just have no interest in it.
You watch it for the visuals, not for the story.
I mean, I did that for the first one, and I was like, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't hate the I don't I don't hate the first movie like a lot of people like to do. I mean, I feel like a lot of people just are like, this movie's really popular. I'm gonna hate it, which they do that for a lot of things.
What is?
But I don't know. Mandalorian season 3. What do you guys think so far?
Are we all up to date?
I am. Are you?
Yeah.
Uh, we are cool. Now we can talk. Spoilers, I guess. We probably should have put that at the front. Shit. Okay.
Well, wait, hold on, hold on. Well, let's just say it right now. Okay, so if you're not up to date with Mandalorian, we're up to episode 3, and depending on when I put this up, maybe the whole show's already out.
Who knows?
Now I'll have this up by Sunday. But go on.
Cool. Um, a lot of people don't like the previous episode with the scientists. I loved it
I thought it was great. People don't like that.
because obviously it's not following the Mandalorian, and since it doesn't have their favorite character, they can't like it. Even though we're actually following up on a really interesting premise of more illegal cloning, and we get to go back to Coruscant, which it's been a minute since we've been to Coruscant. I haven't watched Andor yet. I know castrate me as much as you want. I'll maybe get around to it. I might watch it and just keep telling Russell that I haven't because it's funnier that way.
We
But
need to get Russell on the podcast someday.
we do.
Do we?
The, the but I really loved going back to Coruscant, seeing what it's like, being able to see at least somewhat of the New Republic before I got so prematurely murdered.
Yeah, no shit.
And I liked seeing the moral grayness of it and like the slow birth of the First Order.
Is that what you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be the start of the First Order?
Absolutely. The First Order's already dug its claws deep into the New Republic.
That is true, and yeah, and that's like that whole like espionage type of storytelling is something that's really interesting, and more. I think more Star Wars really needs to start doing stuff like that. I know Andor does it too. I still need to watch it as well, but
I like the take on it because it's almost a take on history because the New Republic using Imperial scientists. I mean, we're all children of history. We know that, but that's
yeah,
very too. But this is unlike if the Nazis actually succeeded, which
I
I think is really interesting.
yeah, that is very true, and also like the thing is that while like that subplot was really cool, but also I really like what they're doing with Din and Bo as well, because the storytelling like and the whole storytelling that there where now Bo is accepted with the old ways of the Mandalorian, like, and I really hope that we can see maybe she can have some pre Vizsla slide in and maybe be like, ooh, I can use these people to take over Mandalore.
God damn it, she's gonna go back.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe not, but I think that could be a cool little. I really like the culture clash of the old ways and the new ways, kind of like the modern and retro.
I can see that. Gabe, what do you think so far?
Um, I really enjoy it. I'm just glad to be back with The Mandalorian. Uh, I thought the that episode with the former Imperial was pretty good. It's nice to see the show kind of change perspectives. Um, I don't know. I think I've just been so out of the Star Wars fandom. It's nice. Like I just don't know what the general consensus is. I'm sure people are hating on it for whatever reason.
They
But
always do.
no,
I think it's
I'm
funny.
enjoying it.
I think it's funny how people are like, "Oh my god, he stole like they stole an entire episode from fucking Din," and I'm like, "Dude, fucking Din literally stole an entire episode from Boba Fett in the Boba Fett
Two
show.
of them. Two of them.
Two of them.
There's two of them.
At least he was still in the episode in this one.
Right?
But I also just feel like when it comes to there's a lot of stories that these writers want to tell, and they just don't have a show to tell it. So they're like, all right, let's just like kind of invade these other shows, which I think it works fair in this instance because this scientist was actually in the show.
Hey, it's all nice and fun and games until Rebels invades the Ahsoka show.
I already know what's gonna happen because
Ugh.
and I'm gonna still hate them. Nothing is going to change. I'm sorry, Filoni. You're not gonna make me change my mind about how I think about Ezra and fucking what the hell is her name?
Sabine.
Sabine. Fucking hate them. I actually posted that as a short clip on my YouTube.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, but I don't know. But something I one criticism that I do have is that I'm really liking all these stories and I think they're really cool. But at the same time, I'm noticing that a lot of this story could have existed without Grogu. Like what I can only count one thing that he's done so far, and that's he went to get he force pushed that one guy out of the way, and he went to go get Bo-Katan's attention with like flying the ship, and then she came and saved him.
And that was pretty freaking important considering he was held captive by that Necron looking mofo.
Yeah, but at the same time, like they also have the droid there, and I feel like they could have found a way to have the droid be the one to tell her.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I just at the same time, I feel like a lot of the storytelling they were just kind of afraid that people wouldn't be as interested if Grogu didn't return. Because I think you guys can all agree that him coming back in Book of Boba Fett was just kind of the easy way out.
Yeah, it seems like a mandate,
Yeah, and
but who knows?
honestly, it just honestly just feels like they weren't confident enough that the story he could hold up the show on his own, and I think he can. But you know, that's in the past, and we're at this point now. So, and right now the show's good, so that's fair enough.
It is good.
It's better
I
than
hope
season
that
2.
So far, yeah, I would say so. What were you saying, Gabe?
I was just saying I hope that the show I don't know. I was hoping that without Grogu the show would evolve and, kind of progress. I don't know, but maybe they have something planned for Grogu that we just can't see yet. Who knows? It seems like a mandate for the character to still be there,
I
considering his
feel like
popularity.
it's so difficult to plan something around Grogu because he he gets all the benefits of being a child character with none of the drawbacks of having to deal with an actual child actor
Oh,
of that
child.
age. Oh, child.
What?
But
You
I
wouldn't get
think it really does boil down to his species and the fact that his species lives for so long. It would be very difficult to incorporate a way to make him have a more active role in the story.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's also just kind of because he did have an active role because season one was find out what he is. Okay, we found out
Yeah.
what he is, and then season two is get him back to his people, and then they did that, and then now he's
Well,
back, and now he has nothing to do.
I don't know. I think there's definite story potential with the character. It depends on if they're going to explore it, but his backstory is still a mystery. Like who took him out of Coruscant, the Jedi Temple, who saved him. A lot of the repressed memories he might have, a lot of the flashbacks we could get out of that. Like, there's some definite story potential there. there's a lot of mystery surrounding him, like his own existence. Like, why was he kept a secret? Why why does he exist? Like, we know what he is, but is he? I don't think he is the child of Yoda or some shit like that. I don't think so at all,
Clearly
considering
not. Yeah.
Yoda's a Jedi and he wouldn't, have any sort of marriage
Yoda
or
would be
anything
like
like that.
850 by the time Grogu would have been born. So yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I guess so. But even still, it's like he might be a clone of Yoda. Who knows? I think he is just another one of Yoda's species. It's just why is there so much secrecy around him? Like there's a lot they can do with Grogu. I think it's just I didn't expect them to bring him back so soon.
Maybe
But
so, but I do think that if we were gonna get some answers, I feel like they could have done something. Maybe if they, because aren't they still making like a Luke Skywalker show?
no,
Are they?
Oh, I thought there was talks about that, but I feel like if they were gonna, because they do like making these spin-off shows, but maybe because like Ahsoka now has talked to Luke, so maybe they could have brought up something there. I just feel like something could have been done because I just felt like the task that Din had with Grogu kind of ended in season 2, and now he's just back with him. I feel like they could have expanded as their own characters rather than being together, but. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just spitballing here, but
yeah, we'll see how it
I
goes.
think
It,
you're
it, it
pretty
still is
right.
very kind of early.
it is. Yeah, that's true. It's only season 3, and it's very early in season 3, so it seems like I do like that this season is way more about him and Bo-Katan, especially
Yeah.
because it's continuing on the Clone Wars story arc, and that's always a plus for me because I love Clone Wars. So
It's really
Uh,
nice seeing not seeing so many fucking glup shittos in the show. So I'm always happy about that. The
wait,
fact
wait,
that
seeing what?
glup shittos,
What does that mean?
it's when those like obscure characters cameo in shows and people pop off for them.
Oh
It's like
yeah, yeah.
in front of kids. And like how they kept doing it last season with Boba Fett and unnecessarily expanding upon the universe and then bringing in Ahsoka when it was entirely unnecessary.
Okay, I will agree with you on Luke and Boba Fett, but I think Ahsoka's episode is fine.
Okay, you can think that and be wrong. It's
And
good
you
for you.
you can think that and be wrong.
It's okay, Jake. You can be wrong. It's good for you.
So
anyways,
can you.
I think Jon Favreau has kind of hinted that he plans on having the show last for a long while. Whether or not he's going to be the writer or I imagine he'd probably be at the very least a producer throughout the show's tenure, but um, yeah, it seems like he has plans for it to last a long time because I think a lot of people kind of didn't really expect this show to last any longer than maybe 3 to 5 seasons at best. But I would not be surprised if the show kind of just keeps going, which I have no problem with.
And it's definitely still entertaining to watch.
Yeah, as long as they can maintain quality and evolve and spice things up, then hell, we just had this really cool kind of duo of characters that get to go on crazy adventures in the galaxy, whether they're small scale adventures or large scale adventures involving the possible formation of the First Order and the Imperial Remnant and the New Republic and whatnot. Like, there's a lot they can do. It seems like a
Yeah.
really good vessel for just exploring all sorts of corners in Star Wars, which I just like that. It's not the most. I would say the Mandalorian is not the most um, maybe thematically deep show. It's not the most dramatic show. It's not the most complex show. A lot of that I would attribute to the Clone Wars and Andor. But it is just a great slice of Star Wars that you get every week, and it's got some really great characters. It's established its own iconography right off the bat with Grogu and Din Djarin, and it does a lot right. Like, it's really great, wholesome fun. Like, and I don't know, it's hard to hate it for me.
Yeah, and also it's just great for people that aren't familiar with Star Wars. Because my mother, she who somehow married my dad, who's like the biggest Star Wars nerd I know. Like, she knows nothing about any of these fucking movies, and she loves watching this show.
Yes,
Be,
it's easily the most accessible Star Wars media probably ever.
Yeah.
Like outside of I would say even more than A New Hope at this point, because I know a lot of people that um, have not even seen the original trilogy and have seen this show, and maybe have tried watching the original trilogy, but you know, I would say the original trilogy really is something that is best seen when you're a kid. You know, if you don't see it when you're a kid and you kind of try and see it when you're entering your adult years, you're already a grown up, then it doesn't have the same exact magic for most people, I'd say. People kind of see it as like a dated thing, unfortunately, but I personally don't, but it seems like there's that sort of mentality, which is understandable. But The Mandalorian is a more like, it retains a lot of the classic Star Wars feel from the original trilogy while providing a modern lens for modern audiences, which, yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, Ethan and I were actually talking about this as well. It's a very similar thing when it comes to Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball is it's a very appreciated show because of how it kind of revolutionized the genre of shonen anime going forward, and how every show takes notes from it. But when it comes to being a Dragon Ball fan in general, it really just kind of comes from just growing up with it. Because starting off that show is not the easiest thing to do, because you go back, and even then, like, you go back and watch the original Dragon Ball, like, there's not really a lot of accessible dubs, and a lot of it is like really kind of outdated stuff. The animation, I think the original Dragon Ball is fantastic. It's my favorite Dragon Ball content, but I understand why people don't like it. But I do think it's important to at least appreciate Dragon Ball for what it did to the genre. And the same thing with Star Wars. Like, even if you don't like Star Wars, you gotta appreciate it for what it did. So
I agree with that because
did you say you agree or disagree?
I agree
Okay.
with all of that because even though I've never watched an episode of Dragon Ball, and if this podcast comes up, I'm gonna have so many people in my DMs angry at me.
I mean, that's just your Twitter in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've already pissed off enough One Piece fans, but that's funny though. They deserve it.
Yeah, fuck you, One Piece fans. Okay. Hold on to that.
Oh shit, here we go.
But the fucking live action's gonna suck. Okay, it's gonna fucking suck.
No. The One Piece fans know that. They know that.
Do they though? Do they?
Yes,
really?
They do. They know it's gonna suck. God, Luffy's gonna look horrifying in that.
No, he's just gonna be a guy.
Oh, Luffy smile in live action.
It's gonna be like the Sora smile.
Oh God, why are you making me angry? I was laughing.
Because we need to round this up for the end of the podcast.
No, we don't. Let's get much higher.
All right.
Oh.
Well, what were you saying before?
About Star Wars and like my stance on it, or One Piece and Dragon Ball and stuff.
Well, like both of that, like the One Piece and Dragon Ball. You're saying you do appreciate Dragon Ball despite not seeing it.
I appreciate Dragon Ball, and I did grow up on Star Wars, but I think you can still. I don't think you'd like it as much, but I think if somebody hadn't, watching that movie as an adult, as long as you're semi-knowledgeable of film, you can appreciate how well it's made.
Oh, like A New Hope, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly,
On at least a technical and objective level.
Like, as I've gotten older, A New Hope is my favorite movie, and is probably going to stay my favorite movie for the rest of the time I'm alive, because just knowing filmmaking now and just knowing how that film was made, it's just so much to appreciate about it.
It's really impressive that film even got off the ground.
I know, it really is.
Knowing all the hell they had to go through in the editing room for it. God.
And like reshoots, they had to get reshoots for that movie too.
And the constant changing dialogue, because George Lucas's dialogue has always been horrible.
Well, there's a very famous line that Harrison Ford says, where he says, "Just because you write this shit, George, doesn't mean I have to say it."
Oh, that's an incredible line.
It's a pretty great one.
That's great. We go out on that. That's a good way to go out on. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
Jedi's my personal favorite, even though I know it's probably the weakest of the trilogy.
I like Jedi. I like Return of the Jedi.
Which one's your favorite of the OT, Gabe? Is it Empire? Are you bland?
Yeah, it's Empire.
Okay, you are bland.
I mean,
I
listen.
mean,
Go ahead, Gabe.
I think I love A New Hope equally. I would say they're all right. Empire is the best Star Wars movie. I feel objectively it is just the best Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah.
But A New Hope to me is I don't know. I like it just as much as Empire, but to me I recognize Empire just A New Hope is the more rewatchable movie, but Empire to me is I don't know, man. I love that movie so much. It's Lando and it's Yoda and it's Vader
Oh, right,
and the
Yoda's introduced in that
ending.
movie.
And it's the best. It's the best lightsaber duel in the entire series. Well, at least in the movies, I would say.
It's
I
a
don't know if I
bold
agree with that.
claim.
It's definitely up there though.
That's interesting.
But
I don't know. It does a lot.
it's one of those. It's one of those things where it's like, is it the most popular? Yes, but there's a reason for it. Like I wouldn't even
It
say.
is one of those very
It's like The
rare
Dark
cases.
Knight.
Yeah, kind of like the Dark Knight in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Dark Knight is
I
the
love the
Empire of
Dark
the
Knight.
Batman
It's
movies.
just DC fans need to stop using it whenever they're in arguments. I'm
No, they
sorry.
don't. It's
That's
one of
better
the best
material.
movies ever made.
It is, but get different material. Ugh.
Like use Dark Knight Rises or Batman Begins every now and then. Dark Knight Rises is not a bad film. I'll fucking die on this hill.
Christopher Nolan has said that his favorite set piece he ever made was the opening to that movie.
It would be extremely painful. You're a big guy for you. I have this running joke with my D&D friends where whenever someone says you're a big guy or he's a big guy, someone will always reply with "for you."
For you.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, I think The Dark Knight Rises is great. I really like that movie.
Well, would you guys say that's that the Dark Knight trilogy is on the list of fantastic trilogies?
No.
Oh yeah,
Thanks.
100%.
There's contrarian Ethan over here.
We're a little bit. I have like my top 3 trilogies personally would be Star Wars original trilogy, Lord of the Rings, and Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I still need to watch the last one. I watched the first
That's a good
two.
trilogy set, right, Gabe?
What?
Is that a fair trilogy set?
Sure, man. That's your opinion.
Okay. What
I don't know what you want.
what are your top 3? That would be actually a good final question if we want to count it out right now. I don't know.
We still got a little bit of time. We could keep going.
Okay. Has it been 10 minutes?
Has it been 10 minutes? Let's stretch it out a little bit longer just to be sure. Let me hold on. Let me
My
just
top 3 trilogies.
Yeah, your top 3 trilogies.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a common one, but it's definitely the original Star Wars trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and the Dark Knight trilogy. But I don't know, the Lord of the Rings
I'm
trilogy.
surprised you don't have Indiana Jones in there.
It's not a trilogy though. There's gonna be 5 movies.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Well, you also got to count for. I might piss off some people with this one. You also got to account for the fact that Temple of Doom is also on there.
Cute.
I love Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom.
I honestly don't like Temple of Doom.
You. Temple of Doom. Cool.
I love the Planet of the Apes trilogy though. That's a great trilogy. Especially
No, that's
Dawn. I love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It's a great movie.
Dawn's great. I love Woody Harrelson in that trilogy. Woody Harrelson's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's only in the last one, but yeah, he's really good.
If you guys want to see a really good Woody Harrelson movie, watch The Highwaymen. That's a really good movie. He plays off. He stars alongside Kevin Costner, and they basically play as 2 Texas lawmen that track down Bonnie and Clyde based on a true story.
Oh,
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
It has one of my favorites, just scenes of Woody talking about Costner's character around a poker table
Oh, Oh no, that was a different movie.
and
There's,
explaining why he was basically kicked out of the Texas Rangers.
oh damn.
It's really interesting. I think it's on Netflix still. Maybe let me check.
I might have to check that out. A movie that this was recommended in one of my classes. A movie that I need to watch is a movie called Tombstone.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I want to. Words. hard. Um, I have heard great things about Tombstone. That has Val Kilmer, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
He showed me a scene from that movie, and my teacher did, and I remember like watching it, and because I'm a big Western fan, I remember watching it. I'm like, man, this scene is just really, it's just really well directed, and just the way that
okay.
it was
The
made.
Highwayman is still on Netflix.
Okay, cool. Uh, but I gotta figure out like what that's on. But well, I got one more topic that we can go through to wrap this up. So have you guys? I know you have, Ethan, but Gabe, have you seen the AI voices?
The Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Obama thing.
Yeah, well, not only just that, but have you seen that there's just so many of them now?
Yeah, it's and they're getting pretty good too.
They're
Yeah,
very
they are really funny, and I gotta say, I also want to talk about the AI art because AI art is also very
yeah.
quickly
That's
evolving. And honestly, like as an aspiring voice actor myself, I'm honestly a little worried about the constant evolution of AI because I've talked to a few I've talked to artists about this and they like you talk to anyone they fucking hate it like they hate the AI art because I mean in a way like a lot of it and I'll be honest I have used a few of them and they are getting better like obviously hands look like shit um
right.
but
Even those though, they've been working slowly past that.
I know and honestly it's
I
getting a
don't
little
like it.
it's
It
getting a
used to be
little
like the watermark telltale sign.
yeah but at the same time because you know you put something in like it's still the basic minimal of stuff like you put something in like a text log and definitely be able to recreate it but if you get like really specific it's still not going to be able to do it and I'm still going to like put my faith in just commissioning someone and be like hey this is how I want it to be do you think you can change this up and make them look like this and they're going to be like yeah sure I can do that and I feel like an AI I don't know. I don't really know if an AI can really learn that much about that. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm not because I don't want this shit to evolve too much.
And it's fine. We're all gonna die.
Yeah, probably. Nah, I'm gonna live forever.
Do you really want to?
Forever, forever,
Just
forever,
don't let this. Don't touch the snail. All right.
forever young. I
Okay.
wanna be okay. Don't touch the snail. Do you even know where that reference comes from?
Um, it's I think from a 4chan post, right?
No, it's from the Rooster Teeth podcast. It's an old Rooster Teeth podcast joke.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no one got that one.
I thought it was
Uh
from Adventure Time.
oh, with like the creepy snail, like the creepy snail that's waving.
Hmm.
This guy's so freaking weird.
That one that's where they did get that reference a lot because there was because yeah, the episode was definitely a thing. But anyway, you guys have any closing statements?
No.
Nope.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for tuning in to the S&G podcast. We'll hopefully have this at a much sooner rate than last time, or it will be another 2 years with the next episode. You can find me at.
Here for 1 year, okay?
We're good for 1 year. All right, you're good point. Now I gotta
One
get back
year.
to editing my next fucking Dragon Age video. But you can find me at Italian Courier on Instagram and at Italian Jake on Twitter. You can find Ethan at Slade Wilson on Twitter. You want to plug your Instagram as well?
Gamer underscore guy 27 on Instagram and Slade Wilson 27 on Twitter.
And you can find Gabe at your local movie theater, and he'll tell you why Avatar is a good movie.
Yeah, I'm off the grid, baby.
All right, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.
You'll